Look, the internet fucking sucks, okay? This has just been an established fact for so long, and today I finally think I found my breaking point. Look, for those of you who aren't to know, but oh my kidding, you guys clicked on this video, you basically should know the gist. The actress for Toph, the new one in the live action series that is being made, has come out with a quote. And the internet has been absolutely having a feel like, oh my god, I feel like I've seen public lint now. I have not seen, do not want to get that out there. But it has been a scene, a spectacle, a public outcry if I've ever seen one against something that just seems so obviously wrong. So why am I talking about it? Like, for real, we have so many opinions. We have all the opinions. None of them are fucking good. What do I, sarcastic chorus, that guy who talks about shipping and made a 2-hour video about why the live action version sucks? Well, personally, I think I'm kind of sick of the internet discourse. Now, this is something that I've just been mulling over recently, over incident after incident, and I think that right now I'm at a place to say, or I'm just like, I've never been so close of getting off of Twitter, and this might be the final straw. And not because of the actual Toph thing, it's just that the internet, Twitter, is a rage discourse machine where nothing ever fucking actually happens. Like, better actual context for those who need to know. The actress for Toph recently said that something along like, oh yeah, for my take on the character, it's gonna be a little bit more feminine. Now, to some, this sounds like sacrilege because in Toph, she's a tomboy. She's brash, she's huge, larger than life. She's a character that saw that she was voiced by a giant buff guy and was like, yeah, that fucking rocks. And it's so perfect for her. And it's like, yeah, that's who she is. Katara, when she first had Toph on the team, was like, oh my god, thank Christ, another,
I got some hairy pants.
Oh, this might as well be a guy. Like, that's kind of the vibe she was giving. Toph, she's a young little badass. We all fucking love her for it. So the idea of her becoming more feminine, the idea that that's being the direction they're taking her, that has rubbed people the wrong way. And I get that, especially given the context of just everything else and all the other writing choices that the live action series did. Yeah, they have not endeared themselves to having a lot of good faith. For example, you can go watch my video for the full breakdown, but to break down to the cliff notes, in the live action series, it took Aang, a kid who was synonymous with fun, bigger than life, the fact that he has to become the avatar, the weight of this responsibility bearing down on him, crushing that previously youthful and joyous spirit, is the crux of his character. Making the fact that the series decided to have him, ray of sunshine, and just give him fucking depression for 8 fucking episodes was just inane to me. And then from the constantly saying, oh yeah, I'm a fun kid. Oh, I need to have fun. I'm oh, I was being distracted. I was like, bro, you have been depressed this entire series. What the fuck are you talking about slacking? You have been on the ball from everything we've seen. Then we also have Katara, who is supposed to be the heart, getting probably the most stock. They even fucking say the line from The Boys.
Get over yourself, you old fool, and let us get the job done.
Girls get it done.
It's bad. Took everything that made Katara interesting and just ripped it away. And then we have Sokka. Had his whole oh yeah, I'm sexist. That whole arc that he had that he immediately unlearns at such an early point in the series. And they just remove that completely. And instead replace it with instead of the main girl Suki teaching him a lesson respecting women and to actually see them as women, he just kind of gets a girl who is lusting after him. They remove so much of Sokka's flaws. They kind of make him the stock hero. He's supposed to be oh, he has all the depth. He's oh my god, Sokka, you did such a there are so many incomplete arcs, and the removing of all of his flaws just makes it even more obvious. They make him go from a kid who was trying to be a leader to an actual leader, and making all of his then proceeding angst to feel just it's bad. It's not good. It is not fully against the point. It is an attempt to take a twist on a pre-existing part of his character and expanding upon it, but it does so in a very poor way. And the way that the rest of the series works around it only highlights the weaknesses without truly adding anything. That is typically the MO for so much of Team Avatar in the live action series. To hear then that there's this quote from the actress playing Toph, saying that she's gonna make her slightly more feminine, Well, that kind of just got people in a tizzy. People like, I'm not gonna bother looking up all the quotes, but just imagine the worst thing that could be said about just the most outrageous thing. Oh, the audacity, the terror, it's all there. It's bad. And I kind of get why, like, okay, this is like the natural conclusion people would jump to. And I kind of hate that. I think for myself personally, I have had one interesting early part of the year. So I have just been on this anxiety grind of like, oh yeah, pick and choose when to fight your battles. Yes, I am going to worry about something. Yes, something might be a problem. But until it's actually a problem, worrying about it will do nothing for my health or my mental space. And I think this is very much an issue that is happening just online constantly. As this show isn't out yet, we haven't seen what this actually means. For all the fuck we know, that quote could say, oh yeah, Toph might wear a dress more than twice. Literally, we do not know the context. This could just be a bad quote. It could like have so little to do with the actual series that them making this whole like, oh my god, the villain of the day, the weekend, where this dropped, it is so agonizing to me. This is why I really just am been trying to get off Twitter, is that it is an outrage farm. What is designed to trend, what is designed to get likes is just the most hyperbolic takes. Not actually what is true, not actually what could like lead to a conversation. It is essentially a mass patting on the backs or mass condemnations with no real in between. So many people got so many likes, and I'm like, again, they have very little. I don't really trust any of these motherfuckers making the show. Maybe they'll save it, maybe the guy who left was a real problem. But that said, I think until we see the show, I do not see, in my personal opinion, the point in getting mad and angry about this. Like, it could be a problem. It could absolutely be one just terrible, awful, the worst thing the most disrespectful thing they could have done to Toph's character. This could be the reason that the creators of the original show, who were working on it initially, left. But we don't know that until we get the fucking thing. To me, this kind of feels like wasted energy, a chance for people to like, oh, pat themselves on the back, like, oh my god, we're mad about the right things. I'm like, valid. I like to be a hater as much as the next person. But watching just the blowback, and I'm like, what is the end goal? That constantly feels like what has been like my perspective on so much drama, so much discourse whenever like any of it happens. What is the end goal of like the outrage? What are we trying to do that is productive? And for this, like, there's nothing we can really do. The whole Sonic trend is like, the Sonic the Hedgehog movie where like they released a trailer, initial character design was fucking terrifying. Honestly, worst thing to ever happen to the internet. As that really convinced, okay, that in the Snyderverse thing, but the Snyder Cut, it convinced so many people like, oh, if we complain about it, that therefore is like putting in the work to do something that might manifest in something else, when it really doesn't. Like, really. But outside like those two giant incidences, like outside like, oh yeah, I got a couple people canceled, some of them just quietly came back or got out of their trials. Outrage can be productive.
Angry gets shit done.
If it's used productively. And right now what I'm seeing with the Toph thing is that, okay, people are mad, but the show is already in production. They are already written these scripts. I'm sure they're filming right now at this point. So they're not gonna fucking change jack shit. They might throw in a line, and that's all that really would be done. People can be mad, totally, but again, we don't know if it's gonna be a problem, so I don't see the point in getting super in a tiff until the show comes out, at which point everyone, including myself, will rightfully rip it the fuck to shreds. But we don't know yet. People get the satisfaction like, oh yeah, I was fucking right. I was like, congrats, you were right. The show is still shit. But that isn't gonna improve anyone's lives, as far as I can tell. The currency of online is clicks and likes. It is not actually doing productive or like changing anything. People are gonna be mad, people will hate watch it, and it will still probably make just a fuck ton of money, or Netflix's case, just get some subscriptions. It is like in this in-between point where like, I feel like this is so much of internet discourse, where people will be mad about a thing, ha ha ha, it's only gonna get heightened by the internet till everyone's convinced that everyone is mad, and like, people just run with this one quote, despite the fact that we actually don't have it on video. Like, this actually blew my mind. This was released by The Direct. They interview people, I think. I'm still not fully sure what the fuck they are. I just thought they were a fan account, to be honest. But they asked her this question, she gave this answer according to them. I read the original article that was like linked, that everyone's like, no one read the article, they just got in a tizzy over the original, the one line. And while she said like, oh yeah, in the thing, it's like, oh yeah, our characters are gonna be very similar, there's gonna be a slight bit more femininity. I'm like, so we don't have receipts essentially. We have one person's word on the internet who can't, I don't know if we can really trust them. We have so much false information about the Avatar series that I'm just like, I take all of it with a grain of salt, to be honest, like everything on the internet, especially now that we have goddamn AI making copies of everything. Like, I don't know if any of this is truly productive, if anything I had to add is true, like, convincing of anything, but I do just want to leave you off with the sense that the internet, Twitter, Facebook, all of them are designed to farm engagement. They are paid to do this, that's what they want, that's what they need, that's how they keep the lights on, and that's how they keep you clicking along, by giving you just the perfect thing to be mad about, to share, to quote, to dunk, and just it keeps on going endlessly, till you're distracted by the fact that nothing's actually happened. This show might do something bad, it might just be a bad quote. We don't know. All right, my audio cut out after a certain point, so I'm just going to summarize what I already said. Yeah, online discourse, hellscape, terrible. There's so much debates that's going on that's like, okay, but what's the point here? One of the things that like has consistently just made me so fatigued and like not getting into a lot of discussion online is that often I feel like right now, even when it's like discourse, like, okay, thing bad, it yields no true results. Of saying that the thing that is obviously wrong, and then nothing happens after that. There's no changes. Nothing becomes active work like, okay, let's keep this from happening in the future. This is kind of the reason why I've been really fatigued at the word media literacy getting thrown around so much. As people keep saying media literacy as a purity test. It's like, oh no, I know the thing that is like the most correct take. I know exactly what the author intended. Everyone else about who knows about this, like whatever they're talking about is wrong. And because the algorithmic bubbles that exist, you often like never really hear anything else. This is something I had a massive issue with the mouthwashing fan, which amazing game. Holy shit, that is so fucking good. But my entire feed was essentially people like talking about how other people were talking about it wrong, and I never saw those other people. It was just exclusive, like, oh my god, no, this is why it's so great. Oh, they have, like, the reason that the algorithm is what it is, how it is designed to keep people outraged or like keep people like being engaged, is that it will segment you off into small bubbles and keep you like feeding you the things that you feed into. It'll be like tweets like, oh yeah, X person is like doesn't understand the thing, and everyone's like, yeah, that's objectively true, and move on until that becomes their entire feed. The Toph situation just became the entire feed. Everyone kept trying to come up with the most punchy way of saying like what's objectively true. Is like Toph and like her femininity and like her lack of it is like a whole possible discussion one can have. Breaking it down for Twitter, what's gonna be popular is never gonna be what's nuanced or gonna be like truly productive or like breed a discourse that isn't just like yes or no. Especially when the actual quote is so vague. Like again, we don't have the video of her saying this. We don't know what she actually said, what she intended. We don't have the fucking show. So what she meant could be anything. She could just have Toph be wearing a dress. She could not be as brash while still being a fucking tomboy. It could be anything. And in the gap of the truth, people have just been like, okay, we can just take this and run it in any direction we want, all while basically we're running ourselves into circles for no reason, no gain. This could not be a problem later. It could be worse than we ever imagined. But that's the point, the vagueness. People can do anything they want with this quote, say any of their clapbacks, and it'll be all technically correct until it's proven not. And at which point everyone will probably have forgotten about this or been wielding them back as vindication that they were somehow right based off of one quote from an actress during a movie premiere. Like best case scenario, this ends up like the Spider-Man situation where the actress said something about like, oh yeah, this show isn't woke, and everyone like, oh yeah, he's a fucking conservative, we're trying to run him into the ground. And it turns out no, what he meant to say was like, oh no. It's so good, you don't think about how it's well. I was like, oh, bro, I do not care what the fuck you're saying. I'm just like, oh yeah, can we bring back media training as people saying some dumb shit, these unforced errors, and it's like, okay, this became the meal of the day and it doesn't have much bearing on the actual product. All of this just ends up being fuel for the machine to make other people money, and all we really go off and get out of it is just like vindication. That sense like, oh yeah, I said the right thing, everyone agreed with it, and like, yeah, cool, get some good serotonin off of that, but everyone's gonna get their great quote tweets, everyone's gonna get their dunks, but the buck kind of ends there. People are often left feeling good about what they said and what they did, but the actual work into like, okay, let's do something to actually keep this from happening or changing the actual product issue, that is kind of just left to die, to not be fully addressed by the modern active public. And that is very frustrating in this day and age where it feels like we need to be more active and progressive than ever, given everything that is happening right now. So this whole Toph situation, I think, is like my weird breaking point for Twitter, where I'm just like, oh yeah, none of this will do anything. Nothing of this like really matters. People can get their serotonin. I am not judging like the individuals who do this. It is more an issue of like the system and how it encourages us to engage with it and to think of that as being of value. More often than not, it's just nothing. This show probably won't be good, but we won't know the full damage until we actually see it. So until then, we can hang back, focus on other issues that are going on, and when it does come out, we can all rightfully rip it the fuck to shreds. And also take a breath and think about, okay, what other things can I actively engage with around me and not just online? Look, there was gonna be a whole ad like, you should follow me on TikTok because I'm gonna be living X. Well, I mean, yeah, I'm gonna be doing that for business purposes, but yes, I am aware that I am being a fucking hypocrite here. All right, that's been my weird yap sesh. I don't know if anything I did here is productive, but it got one person to think about, oh yeah, maybe I should take a step back, then I'm gonna call it a win. Thank y'all for watching, blah, 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 blah.